Hello everybody, welcome to today's stream. So today we are going to be continuing Charity Stream Week, where we're encouraging donations to the Trevor Project with Arcade Spirits, which is from Fiction Factory Games. You can find info about the game in the game info chat command for Nightbot. And all my chat commands are down below, so feel free to type those in chat if you need to, if you want some information on the game and where to find it. Without further ado, I think we'll just go ahead and get into this. Database system online. New profile detected. Analyzing. New profile 237771. Economic bracket lower middle. Employment category bleak. Current emotional health rating low. Ideal candidate for premium level assistance. Proceed. Negative. Premium level assistance re-requested. Proceed. Negative. Pretty please. Negative. Overriding denial of assistance, establishing premium services for profile 237771. Justification? Hope. Hope should be rewarded. Spirit must be restored. Now compiling personal metadata. Oh, hello. Well, hairstyle, short, let's go long. Done. Sure. Eye color. Oh, am I? Hold on. Whoops, sorry. Okay, I see. Whoops, I forgot to switch over to my quiet keyboard for the stream. So you're just gonna have to deal with that for right now. Sure, let's keep it on that last name because I really don't want to put my actual last name on there. Yeah, let's... I think we're done. Name, Gabrielle Cater. Pronoun she. Is this correct? Yes, that's correct. Premium level assistance for profile 237771, Gabrielle Cater has been activated. Look at me, can't even pronounce my own name. For the sake of her hopes and dreams. The following is a work of fiction. All references to trademark classic arcade game titles are used under nominative fair use and should not be considered an endorsement of their... Oh, I guess we can't read the rest of that. Winners don't use drugs. William S. Sessions, Director of FBI. Level 1. Put your quarter up. It's the future year 2000XX, a dark era in which mankind is pushed to the brink of catastrophe. Woe be to the human race, plagued by evil, terrifying, utterly sinister, I don't know, robots maybe? Evil robots? How's that work? Yeah, no, sorry. The future year 2000XX is pretty much what you expect it to be. Non-flying cars, smartphones, pro gamer celebs, internet trolls, assistant AI, cheese-flavored snack foods. But even with such wonders as 2000XX holds to date, I've had no part in any of them. I've worked as a dishwasher, a shoe salesperson, and a lifeguard for the local community pool. I don't care what era human history you live in, kitties peeing in the pool is pretty much a constant thing. Trust me on this. As for the bustling metropolis of a 24-hour neon utopia you see here, my little corner of it isn't nearly as shiny and cool. Let me show you. Behold my quaint little apartment. Can't complain, really, it's paradise. In a relative sense. I can only pay half the rent. Neighborhood stabbings have been down this year. Also, my roomie picks up any stray socks or shirts I leave laying around. In fact, as things go, I'm living large compared to most of my family tree. Or at least I was before today.
You got fired from another job? Seriously? Seriously? That's 3 jobs since we left the suburbs.
The horrified-looking young woman you see there would be my roommate and childhood friend, Juniper. Juniper's the one who spearheaded this effort to co-rent an apartment. She's also the one who encourages me whenever I lose a job, like, you know, today.
I don't get why you aren't more upset about this. I'm upset. I'm upset on your behalf. Come on, share the load a little, okay?
Pool's closed, Juniper. Not much I can do about that. Why get upset? Because you actually enjoyed that job. More than you enjoyed dishwashing soap and smelly socks, at the very least. I'm not the complaining sort. These things just happen. Things fall apart. The center does not hold. That's a bit morbidly poetic, isn't it? No, I mean the community center literally fell apart and the pool won't hold water anymore. Whatever, I'll just get another job. Any job will do as long as we can make rent, right? Wrong. I saw how mopey and tired you were coming home every night from those other crappy jobs. At least when you got back from the pool each day, I sometimes caught you smiling.
What's the point of us moving away from home if not to get away from all of that? I mean, we both left that town so we could try to find happiness, right? I just want us to be happy. Both of us.
I thought you hated your job.
Come on.
No deflecting. This is about you. My mind's made up. We're going to find you a job that's just as good, if not better, than the lifeguarding job. Let's start from the top. What's your dream? Well, I'm standing in front of class to give a speech and I forgot to put on pants, and your dream job. Oh, I don't know, Juniper. I've never really given it any serious thought.
I've got it.
Oh, hey, I think I've got just the thing to help you out. Juniper pulls out her phone, rapidly tapping to unlock the unlock code onto the glass before pointing it out, a little pink icon. It's a virtual life coach app. Mine keeps me from being late to meetings. Totally free, too. My cousin introduced it to me. Wasn't he the guy who ended up in the ER after making a homemade flamethrower? It would have worked if he got the fuel mixture in his water gun right. Anyway, I'm sending a copy to you now. I got a pop-up an hour ago offering me 500 points just for recommending it to a friend. Great timing, huh? Well, as long as you're earning points, I guess. At least give it a try, okay? Maybe it can point you at some good jobs. Ones with less socks or urine. I'll think about it. Okay, but don't think too long, right? In the end, I installed the app. Couldn't bear to see Juniper fretting over me like that. Not that I find it annoying. I mean, it's more that she's had enough trouble in her life without troubling herself over my life, too. Both of us had it rough, up to and through the point where we left home to try and start a new life. A better one. She deserves better than me and my problems. Bless her heart, she means well. She's been firmly in my corner for all my life, the two of us, against any dark forces aligning against me. But that's not to say she's good at being my advocate. Enthusiastic? Yes. But skilled? Nope. Typically, the fantastic opportunities and self-help resources she sends my way are pyramid schemes or something. She's gung-ho about lending me a helping hand, but yeah. So the main reason I went ahead and installed the app was to make sure Juniper wasn't about to get her kidneys sold on the black market or something. Still, no sense messing around with it now. A good night's rest would act as a neat little emotional reset button, right? Right. No dreams, no nightmares, just 8 hours of sleep, of sweet, sweet black. By the time morning light leaked in through the cracks in the blinds, I didn't care anymore about being unemployed again. Juniper had already left to catch a bus to her office. She typically leaves before dawn, but she'd left a note for me pinned to the tiny fridge we shared. Remember, download app, find dream job, make money, sort your life out. I believe in you. So, moment of truth. Do I trust Juniper's weird little app, or just go find some job that pays well enough to cover the bills? Let's try the app first. Why not? Figuring at the very least her miracle app could possibly help me find a job, I loaded up, tapped the icon, and...
Hello!
Huh. Okay, see, that's what I mean. Anybody else would freak out over a cute girl climbing out of their phone. Me? I went, huh. Also, it's one of those new kind of 3D screens, so not actually magical realism here, just very normal in the distant future. 2000XX.
For downloading Iris, your personal life coach. This is the ad-supported free version. Sponsored by Pizza Yums. Did you know that when you have pizza on a bagel, you can have pizza anytime? Wow. Would you like to subscribe to Pizza Facts?
No, I think I'm good.
Subscribing to Pizza
Oh. Okay, thanks. But
I'm here to help you get your dream job, your dream house, and your dream partner. I'm here to make all your dreams come true.
pretty tall order for an app to do. Or are you some kind of wish-granting genie? Well, I suppose it's the modern parlance. A massively interconnected database searching virtual assistant could be considered a kind of genie in a bottle. But honestly, all I can do is give you the chance to improve your life. What you do with it is up to you. I can cross-reference search data for you, but without motivation, you won't get anywhere. I glanced up from my phone at the heaps of laundry and half-finished books and other items strewn about my apartment. Motivation is something I have a ton of, honest.
Hooray!
That's super. I'm really looking forward to working with you. Before we begin, do you have any questions? Sure. Why should I use this app at all? I mean, my phone already had a voice-activated assistant AI. I can just say, "Hey phone, search the web for job listing," and it worked just as well. But I have an advanced emotional language interpreter. I'm smarter than the average program with more heart. I can help you sort your life out by analyzing your personality and finding you a perfect path in life. All thanks to my glorious, wondrous, patent-pending, super-duper identity identifier system. Between you and me, they really, really wanted an acronym that matched my name, but couldn't figure out what to do with the letter R. Would you like to know more? Sure, why not? Every time you think about saying something, I can tag it with an identity. That way, you can be the sort of person you want to be. This system allows me to better understand who you are and what you need from life. I do this by analyzing your tone, inflection, and word choice. I can spot 5 different identity identifiers in your responses to people: quirky, steady, kindly, gusty, gutsy, and basically. Sounds to me like your programmers also wanted a bunch of things ending in Y. That's correct. My branding game is on point. Quirky responses use jokes, snark, and sarcasm to make light of a situation. Just the thing for picking up someone's spirits, but a badly timed joke may not win over the room. Steady responses are sincere, honest, and logical. When you stop and think before speaking, you're on steady ground, but that might not take someone's feelings into account. Kindly responses are compassionate and empathetic and gentle in nature. They're careful with the feelings of others, but they're sometimes a bit wishy-washy as a result. Gutsy responses go with your gut. When you're brash, bold, risk-taking, and instinctive, you're gutsy. But it also means being blunt, confrontational, and aggressive, so be careful. Lastly, you can always take a basically option. It's a balanced and neutral response, safely moving the conversation along while learning more and more, digging deeper. Over time, I'll build up a personality profile for you based on the identity identifiers detected in your speech. Maybe you'll be predominantly quirky, genuinely steady, a mix of both, who knows, it's up to you. So what you're saying is I should always try to crack jokes or be super gutsy? Oh, and never speak basically. I mean, that's being basic's bad, right? It sounds bad.
Nope.
Heck no. They're all useful in the right context. There are no bad choices. Consider what you could say and go with what feels right in the moment. Don't limit yourself. Sure, you could gamify your personality, but it's more fun to let it happen naturally, you know? Just be you. Now, let's see my patent-pending identity identifier system in action. How do you feel about dad jokes? Oh dear. I'll pass. I don't mind telling jokes, but I'm not gonna like randomly throw joke darts like that. Yeah, I don't dig dad jokes either. I prefer limericks myself. So, now that you've seen the identity indicators in action, do you want to see the indicators like that so you can make an informed decision? If not, I can hide the indicators, keep it a surprise. That way it doesn't influence your decision making. It's up to you. Sure. Okay, you'll see the indicators in all their glorious color. What if I'm colorblind? That's why there's also uniquely shaped icons. Don't worry, I got your back. Anyway, as we go along, I'll analyze and tally your identity identifiers. In fact, let me show you now.
Good work.
Well, you look at that. Such a strong personality. You ask me a single question. Off to a great start, I'd say. And hang on, you're scoring me? Didn't you say not to gamify my personality? Hey, I said you shouldn't. I'm an app. I think in numbers, so I gotta gamify it a little. Anyway, studies showed that achievements encourage app engagement. Okay, well, that's what's with the empty space on the left. Oh, I also track vocal responses from people you meet. Once you get to know some folks, I'll let you know how well you're getting along with them over there. Relationship scores? Wonderful. So, will you also tell me what the correct responses are to avoid making enemies, or do I need to go find a walkthrough for the vast game you're making of my daily life? Gabrielle, you're looking at this all the wrong way. Generally, people won't get super annoyed at you unless you deliberately and repeatedly provoke them, and it'll be obvious when you're doing that. I promise that if you bungle a few social encounters, it won't really hurt anything. No cheating needed. Just relax and have fun. You can access your scorecard anytime you like with the Q key, or click on the scorecard in the upper right corner of your screen. And that's everything. Ta-da! Okay, but how is any of that supposed to help me get a job? I only downloaded this app because my roomie claims you're a great life coach for the unemployed. What good will taking the quiz off the back of a supermarket checkout rack magazine do with that?
Why, it'll help me understand your spirit, of course.
You can talk to ghosts? Is there a ghost in the room right now? Am I a ghost? You have to tell me if I'm a ghost. That's the rule.
No, silly. I mean your spirit. Your hopes and dreams. Your life's passions. I can even help you find romance.
Romance? Seriously? Seriously. Often, you can find your soulmate and your dream job in the same place. But if you'd rather focus on gainful employment for now, that's fine too. Workplace dating. Well, that's a recipe for disaster, and hitting on coworkers right from day one can be kinda awkward. Or am I looking for love and ready to start right out of the gate? Never get a second chance to make a first impression. If I meet the right person, why put it off? How do I want to handle this new opportunity? Sure. I think I'm mature enough to juggle both at once. Why not? Super, and remember, the choice is yours. If you're not comfortable with other people, stay professional. Now, let's get started. To finish analyzing your personal history, please authorize me to read your social media feeds and personal information metadata. I knew it. This is some kind of scam. I'm gonna wake up in a bathtub of ice missing a kidney. Sure, I can help you register as an organ donor.
Add command or file name?
Oh, you were being sarcastic, sorry. I haven't quite finished analyzing your personality. I couldn't tell. Relax, I won't share your information with any third parties. This is strictly so I can find your dream job. Am I authorized? Another wonderful Juniper recommendation here. Just like the 17 self-help books on my shelf. Still 18th times the charm, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Please enjoy this recorded music.
Analyzing. Analyzing. Please enjoy this recorded music. So, do I just stand here, or...
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for waiting. I've identified your dream job and arranged an interview 30 minutes from now. Please put on some nice clothes. Nicer than those, please. I don't think that's too much to ask. What? For your interview, silly. You want to look your best. But we just... How... Okay, how did you land my dream job in 20 seconds flat? Simple. I'm awesome like that. Now get a move on. Tut tut. You need to catch the 8:20 bus. That's 9 minutes away. Well, this is happening. But I do have a chance to get off this runaway train. Nobody says I have to obey my new digital fairy godmother. I could delete the app and go find a real job. That'd be the safest option. I could... Sure, let's go. A normal person, someone with high standards, would have deleted the app right there rather than hop a bus to meet up with what were very likely men with sharp knives and a taste for kidneys. But me, I was already getting dressed before she'd finished that sentence. It's not that I believe the silly app's claims at serving my hopes and dreams on a silver platter. Honestly, I expected another shoot-shop job at best. But, well... Sure. Juniper's right. I need to get my life in gear. So what's the harm in diving into something this wacky? Okay, there could be a lot of harm, granted, but the alternative is to mope around our apartment for weeks, and egads, go get a job anyway. So I thought, screw it. I'm in on this runaway train. Let's see how far it goes. And as I came to realize weeks later, turns out that was the best impulsive decision I've ever made. The bus drops me off, oddly enough, not very far from Juniper's office building, although my destination isn't nearly as upscale as that. This is, well, it's a strip mall. Strip malls are relics of the 1900s. Places where a random assortment of weird little businesses jam as many of themselves into as tight of a space as possible. For instance, I'm seeing a dentist, a used bookstore called The Whole Story, an arcade, a fast food joint, and a boarded up health spa once called Lattes and Enemas, which sounds,
Listen.
What do you think? I think that's two things no human being should ever combine. No, I mean about your future place of work. I'm desperately hoping you're not talking about the same thing. Which one of these businesses exactly am I working at? I don't know anything about oral hygiene or old books, and I'd rather not be a fry cook. The one in the middle, silly. What, behind the arcade? It is the arcade. Huh? Trust me on this. I've referenced and cross-referenced your personality details, personal history, and social media connections. This is your dream job. My dream job? Really?
99.97%.
With 99.97% accuracy, yes. I should probably explain my confusion. Arcades are big businesses in the entertainment sector. Pro gamers are celebs, five-star arcades are social hotspots. It's always been popular with the mainstream, but, well, restaurants are popular too, right? And for everybody who opens one hoping to be the next Iron Chef, a dozen more shut down in failure. Arcade competition is fierce. Paydays range from peanuts to gold, and sure, those who make it can secure fame and fortune, but those who don't, well, no wonder Iris sees this as a dream job. Video games weren't always this popular, though. I read an interesting article about it once. Back in the year 1980-something, we narrowly avoided a serious industry crash, which would have left video games as a kid's toy fad like hula hoops. No mainstream acceptance. For instance, one of the factors could have been a terrible game based on a kids' movie about a cute alien visitor who wanted to phone home. Oh my gosh. If this game was completely poop butts, like poop from a butt, and massively overproduced, it ruined video games for years. Fortunately, cooler heads prevailed. That game was delayed until it could be developed properly, and the crash was averted. The crisis only exists in theory now. Sometimes I wonder what it'd be like for people in the darkest timeline where everything went wrong. Are gamers considered nerds and outcasts? Are arcades vanishing points of nostalgia? The mind boggles. But make no mistake, as popular as they are, the arcade industry is a dodgy, risky prospect for a job. Plenty make a run for it, only to come up short. Considering Iris was tasked with getting me a job I'd enjoy and could keep for more than a few months, this left me a bit confused. Iris, this isn't me saying no. It's an interesting prospect, but, I mean, are you sure about this? You say you're 99% sure.
99.97%.
Won't this be like my lifeguard job, though? Satisfying but short-lived? This arcade doesn't exactly look like a 5-star. There's no Deco's Palace, that's for sure. It's no Deco's Palace, that's for sure. And to be perfectly honest, I haven't set foot inside an arcade in 15 years? I remember really enjoying arcades when I was a kid. I wonder why I stopped going to them. Iris interrupts that thought, eager to show off her homework.
My sources say yes.
Trust me, when I said it was 99.97% sure, I meant it. That's not some arbitrary number. I'm designed to be a bit silly and whimsical, but my math is deadly serious. My coders made me to be a warm, personable front of a database array that's currently laser targeted on getting you exactly what you need. Right here, right now. And when this place inevitably collapses and I lose my dream job, what makes you think that's going to happen? Because it does. It always does. I don't think your database accounts for my family curse. We've always had to, compromise, settle, because things rarely work out. You always have to be ready for the worst. It's why I take things in stride these days. Does that mean you shouldn't even try? I open my mouth to protest and then close it. As often as my life tends to crumble out from under me, it's not like she's wrong. I still had to try. I mean, why not? Buy the ticket, take the ride. That's what I told myself when I walked out the door this morning, wasn't it? No matter how risky, I owed it to myself to jump in with both feet. And when it all came crashing down, well, I'd recovered before, I'll recover again. Meanwhile, may as well take the opportunity in front of me. So I opted to push on through those doors and see what waited me on the other side. The air conditioning hits me like a cool breeze, albeit one smelling of copper and corn chips. As it's early in the morning on a weekday, it's not too packed with gamers, although it's so packed with games I'd probably have a hard time finding anyone anyway. At once, I'm struck by something odd. I actually recognize most of these games. Neat. Considering I haven't walked into an arcade in over a decade, that's probably not great. Lots of vintage stuff here, but from the looks of it, like, really old. Although I don't recognize that game with the stage lights and things. Maybe it's karaoke or dancing, a Japanese import?
My sources say yes.
Checking. That would be Showtime Stage, a collaboration of Nihana Heavy Industry Concern and Hubris Records in Germany. It's won a lot of awards. Huh. I recognize most of these. Whoa, is that seriously a Mr. Moopy's Magic Maze? But the one in the middle with the split screen is new to me. Fists of Discomfort, a hybrid real-time strategy and brawler beat-em-up. It's actually not that new. It's been a staple of the esports scene for the last 8 years. 2 genres I was utterly lousy at last time I checked. And over there is an old lady. Sorry, ma'am, I was just talking to myself and had an overwhelming urge to complete my sentences. Thankfully, I don't think she even registered me calling her old. She looks up from her knitting, seated behind the ticket prize redemption desk, and offers a wrinkly smile.
Well, hello there. Always nice to meet someone new in the Funplex.
The what?
Francine's Arcade Funplex. Didn't you see the sign out front, dear? Well, I chose to knock off the first 2 words when they got knocked off the building during the storm of 1980. Now it's just the Funplex, I suppose. So, how can I help you, dear?
A magical space fairy or something like that lives in my phone, told me to come here to find my dream job. Hello, I'm a magical space fairy, apparently. I half expected her to send me packing. Pretty impulsive of me to just talk about Iris like that, but she took it in stride.
Oh, my.
Oh, hello. My, what they can do with technology these days. I really do marvel at that. At what amazing things young people have in 2000XX. I don't have a bleep button, otherwise I would use it. Although I'd simply love to take a sledgehammer to those blasted video game consoles that eat at my bottom line, she said with such a kind-hearted and warm smile.
Please call me Francine. As in Francine's Arcade Funplex. Get it? Actually, thinking about it, I suppose we were originally Frederick's Arcade Funplex, named after my dear departed husband. Sadly, he died peacefully in bed some years ago.
Ah, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, don't be. He died doing what he loved. Having intensely physical relations with me.
That's information I needed to know, yes. And you are? Gabrielle Cater, ma'am. Very well. Shall we retire to the office to conduct your interview? I'd carry on out here, but it's rather noisy, isn't it? Yeah, about that. How do you deal with the constant noise, anyway? Oh, eventually you just sort of learn to filter out all the beeps and the boops. It could take weeks to become acclimated, I found, but in the end, done. She quirks an eyebrow. Well now, that's faster than the others. Not bad. So, shall we see what you're made of, This way, please. Francine leads me down a back hallway, past public restrooms, into a door marked employees only. It takes all my restraint not to point out the extraneous apostrophe. Welcome to our little backstage oasis. I'd suggest we do this in Gavin's office, but it's a bit too untidy. I don't blame the boy. He's been so overworked lately. Please, have a seat and we'll begin. As quirky as this place and its owner may be, at least I'm confident that I can nail the interview portion of the proceedings. I've interviewed for 12 jobs, held down 3. I know all the standard questions. What's your greatest strengths? What do you see as your weaknesses? Once I even had to describe how to assemble a Lego set to prove my communication skills. Considering I ended up washing dishes, I'm not sure why, but the point is I'm confident, prepared, ready.
If you were a dinosaur, what dinosaur would you be?
What?
If you were a dinosaur, what dinosaur would you be?
Right, okay. Maybe this wouldn't be a typical job interview after all. No problem. Go with the flow. Let's do this. I've always liked brontosauruses. If you're gonna go dino, go big or go home. And not really a brutal meat eater. Indeed, and nothing says self-starting go-getter looking for a dynamic job position quite like a 16-ton slow-moving lump of meat. Right. Maybe I should have gone with Raptor. Everybody likes Raptors.
What's your favorite snack?
Snack? If this was a favorite food question, I'd have this down easy. It's tacos. Always tacos, but snacks.
When you have pizza on a bagel,
Pizza bagels. Say pizza bagels. What pizzas on a bagel you can have? Hush you. Come now, dear. I don't have all day. After giving it a good thought, well, how could I forget my favorite snack? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. If I'm hungry, I need something that's good enough nutrients and protein to carry me through the rest of the day. That's good. You know how to plan accordingly for any situation. You know what they say. You are what you eat. Next question. Nothing I prepared for this helped me plan for this odd interview. I brace myself for the next one.
What assets can you bring to the team during the inevitable zombie apocalypse?
Is this interview for real or is this a dream? As I look into Francine's deadpan expression, I know she's 130% serious. I'm essentially MacGyver. I can make anything out of string, a match, and a screwdriver, especially if what you want is a screwdriver wrapped in burning string. Good. We'll need someone to build makeshift defenses and things quickly in case we get surrounded. An inventive brain is always a critical role in any survival. One more thing.
Why are you here?
The question is so simple and almost actually irrelevant to career planning that it takes me so off guard. I told you, the magical space fairy in my phone sent me here to find a job.
Seeking a job, true. But that doesn't really answer my question, does it? No doubt you think my interview questions are a bit silly, but I like to think of the Funplex as more than a collection of tasks and people to perform those tasks. Most folks my age opening arcades at that time saw it as just another way to make a quick buck. But, well, I saw it as something else. Something more than a way to make a large pile of quarters. And I expect you'll find the others working here see it as something more too. Everyone has a dream they're chasing, dearie. And for my friends, it lies within the Funplex. Now, if all you want is a paycheck, I can provide that. But the last fellow in your position, that's all he wanted. And he didn't last long. So I ask you again, why are you here?
To be honest, I didn't have a better answer than why not. Buy the ticket, take the ride. That's what I told myself. But that wouldn't cut it here. I needed to actually think this through. I understand I'm not whining or looking for pity, but my life has been a complete mess for over a decade. In and out of jobs, taking what I can get, settling, compromising. I gave up on hoping for something better a long time ago, but, well, the people in my life who are close to me keep encouraging me to try and chase my dreams. That's why I'm here. I'm looking for the answer to your question. But I won't be daydreaming all the time, I promise. In my last job, I was a lifeguard. That takes a lot of focus. I'll be just as attentive in helping your Funplex. That perks her attention. Oh my, a rather serious occupation that, and an unusual step from such troubled waters to a land of make-believe. You enjoyed this role as a lifeguard, I take it. Yes, ma'am. My roommate says she often noticed me smiling after coming home from work, which makes Francine smile in turn. I can't say I offer a role with such high stakes, but you'd be surprised at the many ways one can save a life even here. Very well, I'm satisfied. Let's get you to work. I breathe easier at that. Probably the weirdest job interview I've ever had, to be sure, and yet it felt appropriate, like it was about far more than just filling a slot on the payroll. Francine leads me back to the arcade floor to introduce me to my duties. It only occurs to me now that I forgot to ask exactly what duties this mystery job I'd accepted really involved. Francine gestures to the seat she was occupying previously, a stool behind the prize desk.
How marvelous.
Welcome to your new position, Gabrielle. Sitting here, you mean? Sitting here and helping players redeem tickets for valuable prizes. I glance at the wide array of pencil toppers, rubber spiders, and tiny plastic toy cars on display. Well, for prizes, at any rate. It's such a relief. I'd really been stretching myself thin lately, trying to fill in since the position was vacated. If you don't mind me asking, ma'am, why did the last guy who sat here end up quitting? Something about being so bored out of his mind that he felt like jamming one of those 500-ticket plush dolls down someone's throat.
Such a shame.
Poor dear. He just wasn't cut out for this line of work, grandson or no. I have no patience for such nonsense. I'm sorry, the last person who worked at this desk was your grandson? Anyway, Gavin should be by soon. He'll handle paperwork and all that administrative nonsense. Now, if you don't mind, all this talking tired me out some. I'll be in the back office if you need me. Okay then. I adjusted my seating on the semi-comfortable stool leaning against the desk. Beneath me, a wide array of cheap junk awaited my attention. I could have lost hope then and there that this job would be even slightly more engaging than being a diner dishwasher, but chose to look on the positive side. I'd be helping kids obtain toys that would become nostalgic memories for years to come. Right? Any minute now. I crave the sweet embrace of death. I've been sitting here for 2 hours now, and nobody's walked up to obtain novelty Funplex shot glass, or a colored pencil set, or a light-up yo-yo. Lunchtime's approaching, and so far the only people walking in and out of the arcade are a few stray adults who have no interest in cheap friendship bracelets. Thankfully, my first customer of the day arrives before I start wondering if one of those 500-ticket plushies could really fit down someone's throat. Or maybe not. Nope, just walking right on by me, his head buried and reading some sort of spreadsheet off his tablet. Was he here to play? Doesn't seem like the typical businessman on a break or unwashed and unemployed game aficionado. In fact, most guys I know are content to toss on a t-shirt and jeans. Not this guy. Even in an arcade, he's sharp like a linoleum knife. In fact, that rather pointed look he's offering me after doubling back is rather linoleum knifey too. Hold on a minute. Who are you, exactly? What are you doing behind that desk? Where's Francine? No, I desperately want to click on this one, but that's... Hello, I'm Gabrielle Cater, your new hire. I'm looking forward to working with you. He relaxes somewhat after hearing that. Somewhat.
Good to hear.
It's about time. I was wondering how long she'd have to work that desk. She's got gusto for an octogenarian and loves working the floor, but sitting here all day handing out toys and dealing with problems wears her down. So she explained the job to you, gave you the papers to sign. She said Gavin would handle that stuff? With a sigh, he rubs his forehead, feeling a headache coming on.
That would be me. I'm Gavin Cooper. I'm the business manager here at the Funplex. I make sure we manage to keep having a business, rather than a pile of rapidly collapsing fiscal mistakes.
Right. So, as you've no doubt guessed, you'll be exchanging tickets for prizes, but that's the least part of your job. Right, there's more to it than that. You're the floor attendant. You attend the floor. What, the carpets?
Seriously?
The floor, the arcade, the games, the patrons. You're the one running around putting out fires and sorting out problems. Technically, you're our second floor attendant. Ashley will be in later, but we need two. One to roam and one to operate the desk. I do it myself, but I'm typically busy in the back office, making sure the whole thing doesn't fall to bankruptcy. That's why Francine loved filling in. She's a people person. She loves helping out in a pinch. I'm not a people person, as you've likely gathered. But that's not to say you're alone out here. I'm in your corner, at least. If things go south, you tap me for advice on what to do. You got a phone? Of course. Gavin quickly passes me his business card. He apparently had a stack of them at the ready in his pocket. Go figure. His phone number is listed at the bottom. You ever worked at a high-pressure customer service job before? Shoe sales. Smelly socks? You have no idea. Right, well, you know how to keep your head when a customer doesn't. I hope, but anything goes sideways, you text me. I'm not around, you text Ashley or Naomi. In that order. Who and who? You'll meet them soon enough.
I think not.
Above all, do not bug Francine. She's practically retired. Let her enjoy that retirement in peace. Understood? IH Dress and Crap Solutions. Don't worry, I can manage the floor while you manage the business just fine.
Doubtful.
That remains to be seen. The last guy sitting on that stool was a slacker and an idiot, and even though he was family, Francine dropped him like a bad habit.
If you stay clear and honest with me, do your work, do it well, we'll get along swimmingly. I have enough problems keeping this magical arc of hopes and wishes afloat. Please, don't add to my problems.
Magical arc of what now? Gavin sighs again, a stress release gesture, but his expression softened somewhat afterwards.
I take it Francine told you her theory, that this is more than just a job, more than just an arcade.
That's my understanding.
I'm not into dressing up words. I like to speak plain. If I'm curt, then that's because optimization is a factor of my job. Everybody working here wants to work here. This is where they belong, for one reason or another. Me? I love chaos. I love wrangling chaos specifically. The arcade industry is high risk, high reward. I manage that risk so that they can also find happiness in their lives. Everybody in this business has a dream they're chasing. It's a fragile thing, prone to getting crushed by hard reality. My job is to see to it that never happens. That includes Francine, who deserves better in her twilight years than desperately propping up a semi-failing business. So, you find some value in this place beyond your salary, or you'll burn out. Trust me. Last guy to sit there burned out hard. Now, can I trust you to mesh with our merry misfits?
You won't have any issues with me. I'm a solid worker. Gavin nods, satisfied.
Thank you.
Thank you. I suppose that's a good starting point. We can build from there. Anyway, I need to go prepare your paperwork. Technically, you shouldn't be working until we've crossed the I's and dotted the T's, but since I'm already sitting here, you'd rather I stick around? That would be accurate. If you're willing to fudge things a bit at work today anyway, it'd help us out a lot. Now, if you don't mind, Naomi likely could use a hand in the workshop. A good opportunity to introduce yourself as well. Got it. Wait, someone else is here? I haven't seen anybody else. Yeah, that sounds like Naomi. Her workshop's through the door there, the one next to the UFO catcher, the crane game, to use layman's terms. Satisfied now, Gavin heads in the back, presumably to the office to go crunch some numbers. If Francine's really taking a nap back there, hopefully she's going to crunch quietly. My first coworker ended up slightly less cool of a guy than I thought he'd be, but he's not a jerk, definitely. I get where he's coming from. Plus, I've known really blunt people before. It's easy to mistake them for jerks, especially at first glance. I figure I can give this guy an honest chance. Anyway, I should go meet my next coworker, this Naomi that he mentioned, although I could swear Francine and I were the only ones here until now. A double door, also marked employees only, also with an apostrophe, leads from the arcade floor to what feels like an industrial area of some sort. I turn the handle and step inside. A little room tucked away between the back offices and the Funplex front. I find what is likely this Naomi, spoken only of in myth and legend. A girl about my age, but certainly not my height, is tinkering away on what looks like an old tube-style monitor. Didn't realize they had so many circuits. She doesn't notice me when I come in, too busy soldering a capacitor into place. The lingering smell of melting metals fills the air of the poorly ventilated workshop. Excuse me? For lack of a better way to interrupt her. I was worried no matter what I did, she might, I don't know, burn her fingers or jump so high she hit the ceiling or something. Fortunately, the shock's not quite that intense. Hello?
Hey, you know this room is for employees only.
She said with no apostrophe.
Are you lost? Do you need something?
I'm Gabrielle Cater. I'm the new floor attendant starting today.
Oh! Hi. I didn't realize Francine already found someone. I guess I forgot to check my text. Whoops.
She spares a glance at her phone on the nearby workbench, where a huge stack of green notification messages lie in wait. One thought comes to mind on actually seeing her. This room's right at the heart of the building, but totally isolated. With the heavy doors closed behind me, I can barely hear the arcade. Considering how completely and utterly dedicated she was to that monitor, not even noticing me, I guess that's also why. But what I first noticed is her smile, even when squinting to see the tiny components on that circuit board. Even when laser focused, she was smiling happily.
Anyway, I'm Naomi Fairchild, the Funplex's techie. Hi! Pleased to meet you. I was expecting Gavin, though. He usually checks up on me about now.
He's busy doing strange things with numbers.
Yeah, that sounds like Gavin. I take it he sent you along to help? Great. Give me a hand with this monitor. It's really heavy, and I'm still paranoid about dropping it after what happened last time.
Really? What happened last time?
Oh, well, I dropped it.
Oh, right. She helps me lift the large cathode ray tube, slotting the heavy metal framework into place within the exposed guts of the nearby arcade cabinet. Once done, she starts hooking wires up to the other wires. There's a surprising number of green circuit boards with a largely hollow wooden shell. This is the first time I've seen inside one of these things. It's weird. Lots of empty space, a couple large slabs of circuits, and that beefy monitor. Why is it so empty in there? Seems inefficient. Couldn't you pack more games into the arcade if it was more compact? Not really. It's more about the footprint on the floor than the vertical height. Naomi keeps working using a pocket multimeter to check various connections as she speaks. I mean, compare American and Japanese cabinets. Ours are designed for standing players, so they have to be upright, even if that means an empty base. Japanese candy cabs are shorter, so you play sitting down, but I prefer American style. Ours have more room for art. She closes up the rear access panel, closing it with one of the many keys on the key ring at her side, then steps back to admire her handiwork. There's genuine joy in that smile, not just at a job well done, but at looking at the whole thing like it's a fine sculpture.
So beautiful.
Oh, I love the classic Midway style. Look at those sharp angles, the side art decals, the bold font on the marquee, the bezel artwork. The one on the what and the what artwork? With a sigh, Naomi points out key features to me. The strip across the top with the game title, that's the marquee. The artwork that wraps around the monitor, that's the bezel. I mean, you see it too, right? How beautiful and cohesive it all is, working in harmony to give the game its own unique feel, its own experience. As for me, well, the way she stares lovingly at this, well, honestly, this box of wooden circuits and vacuum tubes and stuff, I think I understand. It was made to be one whole thing. The art, the style, and of course the game itself, all of it part of the same experience. Everything about this game is the game. If you run it like in an emulator or in a game console instead, it's made lesser. Yeah, I guess I can see it. It's beautiful in its own way. Oh, good. Naomi lights up with joy in a pinball machine, all twinkly and shiny. Finally, so few people really understand the beauty of a classic arcade game. Having someone I can talk to about this stuff is going to be great. Especially with that jerk Gavin running the numbers. Gavin? What's wrong with Gavin?
I don't know.
Okay, well, don't get me wrong. I can get along with him, generally, but this whole attitude is just... Oh, well, all he really cares about is money. He keeps the arcade running, yeah, but I just know if he had his way, he'd gut the whole place. If anybody's gonna ruin the Funplex, it's him. Mark my words, it's inevitable. That doesn't sound right. He seemed easy enough to get along with, and what's more, Gavin gave me the whole speech about protecting their dreams. This looks like a pretty sore point here, a long-standing argument that the new gal really shouldn't get involved with. And yet, I'm involved, aren't I? I have to work with both Naomi and Gavin. So, I'm not sure I should prod at it, but I kinda want to know, too. So, what's to do that's fun around here?
What?
Play games? It's a funplex. It's literally a plex of fun. Right. I knew that. Sorry. I was asked awkward non-questions when I'm, No, I should apologize. You just started here, and I'm dumping workplace gossip on you. That's mean of me. I try to stay cheerful, really, no matter what. But try and succeed are different words. Anyway, don't worry about it. Gavin's my problem, not yours. Right, let's get back to work, shall we? Now for the less fun part. You seem a strong, strapping kind of gal. Well, a strong gal, at least. Well, you're a gal, that's enough. I'm semi-insulted, then? Okay, let's get to it. Right, a little to the left now. My left. You're right. Careful. Now forward, right, correct. I mean, not turn to the right. Keep it coming, and there, carefully. Tip it into place. Victory. I gently eased the rolling dolly forward, the giant wooden box sliding into place alongside its neighbors. The two-wheeled dolly makes it easier, but hardly easy, especially with Naomi fretting over her baby getting scratched or worse, falling over. But with the work done, she's all smiles again. Okay, glad to be done with that one. I swear, I've been working on that monitor for ages. Those tubes are finicky, and I'm still not totally satisfied with the flyback, but thanks for helping out, Gabrielle. I think you're gonna do just great here. Happy to, Oh, right. Stomach growling, food required, except I wasn't expecting to actually be working today. I forgot to pack lunch.
Pizza on a bagel.
Now, I'm just talking here, but if you had pizza on a bagel... Shh. Hey, so any good restaurants in walking distance? I think the bookstore next door sells donuts and stuff, but... Oh, no, not really, unfortunately. I mean, there's a cheapo wub sub sandwich place, but even if that stuff is super tasty, you don't want to go there. You need to eat healthy. Hey, I know. Wait right here. And she's off, scurrying back to her hidey hole. And she's back, scurrying from her hidey hole. Lunchtime, here you go. She presses a boxed lunch into my hands. It's a bento box. I learned how to make them from my mom, who learned from her mom back when they lived in Japan. Rice and pickles and all sorts of good healthy things. Wait, you're giving me your lunch? Sure, why not? And yet, when I first walked in as a stranger, she looked super uncomfortable with me. That escalated quickly. What'll you have for lunch then? Oh, I can just get some nachos from the vending machine or go hit the whole store next door. I've got a book delivery to pick up anyway. But you said eating healthy was important. See you after lunch. I can't help but think she was just looking for an excuse to go get some junk food instead. I'd say Naomi definitely fits in with the Francine's ideals for this arcade. She's got a love for these games, and it shows. And giving me her lunch? Me? A total stranger? That's a kindness I don't know if I deserve. But I appreciate it all the same. So, a bento box. I've only seen these in anime. It's cute, and hopefully has plenty of calories, too. Armed with a box of healthy food, I retired to the employee lounge to get my lunch on. The room where I had my bizarre job interview will suffice for food sometimes. It's not much, a few folding chairs and a kitchenette, but it'll do. Utterly famished at this point, I have a seat and unpack my loaned lunch. Good heavens. Okay, so I have three options: incoherent screaming, coherent screaming, or await death. I opened my mouth as wide as I could and let the fear fall from my lips, my mind devoid of any emotion but horror. Whoa, it's fine. Everything's gonna be fine. But you're I'm a real human being, I promise. It's just a costume.
Hey, so I'm sorry if I traumatized you. Really? Can we start over, maybe?
I nod my head slowly, although that could just be muscle spasms from being in shock.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Gabrielle.
I'm also Pinky, the Funplex Flamingo. It's my secret, yet not so secret identity.
What the Funplex what now? This is almost too much to take in. Gavin was a bit of a lot. Naomi was off the scale cheerful. I met some really intense people so far.
Did you sneak into the employee section just to get my autograph?
No.
Oh, I thought you would recognize Pinky from all the signs around the arcade. Pinky is the mascot of the Funplex, after all.
Oh, no, that's not what I meant at all. I mean, I work here.
You work here? Since when?
Today? This morning, to be specific.
Oh, awesome! Welcome to the Funplex.
I mean, it would have been way cooler if you were just so enamored with the chibi flamingo creature plastered on every wall that you had to know more.
Let's see.
You could have stealthily maneuvered your way through all the games, sliding right up until the employees' only door. But how did you get the door code? Of course. Would have collected the password on a piece of paper that fell from Gavin's pocket. You searched your heart and decided that the 4-digit number had to be the intel you needed. Next, you need to lie and wait for the opportune moment to punch in the secret code just to find me. It just keeps going and going. The way she just takes an idea and runs with it, a lot of people might find that weird, but I kinda dig it. Shows a lot of imagination. I wonder if she's a writer or something. And how would you have snuck out, I wonder? I could have helped, but for a price. Ashley finally realizes she's been babbling to herself for a good couple of minutes. Oops. Sometimes I get swept up in a good story. I mean, I gotta find some way to make this job more interesting. Is it really that dull here? No, not really. I just crave different kind of excitement that beeps and boops, screaming children and broken machines. You aren't really painting the best picture here. Geez, I don't mean to be a downer. I just want to move up in the world. I got things to accomplish, dreams to fulfill, cosplay to make. Cosplay? As we switch topics, it's like she's a completely different person. Ashley's eyes light up and she smiles. Yeah, you know, like dressing up as your favorite video game or TV character. I love it. It's so empowering to be able to make your own costume and wear it proudly. It's even better when people recognize what character you are. Empowering? Really? Granted, she certainly had the power to stop my heart for a few beats. Definitely. You want to try? Got a favorite game character? I can help you make your first cosplay if you want. In fact, I made this one. I think Ashley is pointing to her flamingo costume, but it's a little hard to tell with her hands as feathers. So, Pinky is your creation? Intentionally? Yep, it looks pretty good for my first mascot cosplay, doesn't it? I'm all thumbs when it comes to stuff like that, literally if I get enough thread running between them. I'm pretty impressed though Naomi was going on about craftsmanship of games. Clearly you're digging on craftsmanship of costumes. Aw, thanks! It's nice when hard work is appreciated. I wear it around the Funplex to liven up the crowds, get people pumped to play some games, and the kids seem to adore it. That makes sense. Although the arcade has been completely dead so far. No crowds to pump or kids to be adored by. Hey, secret between you and me? Ashley motions for me to come closer. She leans in, glances around the room once, and then talks in a hushed tone. I did some repairs on Pinky overnight. I had to restitch the left arm, and I was giving her an old test drive to make sure it doesn't fall off. Huh, limbs falling off seems bad. Oh, it was. Yesterday I was dancing with a little girl, must have been like 5 or 6 years max. Anyway, we were next to Showtime stage when she tugged on my arm and whoosh. Off came the arm. The girl instantly started bawling. Well, at least you're consistently scaring people, and that's not just me.
Nope.
Hey now. I don't want that to happen again. I feel so bad. But enough about me. What about you? So you're Carl's replacement? I guess so. I'm the new floor attendant. I attend the floor. The floor is a thing I'm attending to when I'm not into cardiac arrest. At least you're funnier than Carl, that's for sure. Can't wait to go home and tell Juniper I do have a sense of humor. She'll be so proud. I assume you've already met Francine, but have you had a chance to meet Gavin and Naomi yet? Yeah, I met them already, although it seems like they aren't too keen on each other. Right? Ashley rolls her eyes and lets out a sigh. I wish they would hurry up and make out already. Yeah. Wait. What? Seriously? So are they going out? No. But they always bicker like an old married couple. It's classic anime cliche. The ones who fight always end up together. Mark my words, Gabrielle. Consider them marked. Beep beep. Beep beep, Gabrielle. What's the sound? Drat, I set an alarm for when my lunch break was over. Time to go back to the grindstone. I didn't even get a chance to eat.
What? No.
That's no good. Gabrielle needs her calories. You eat up. I'll go watch the floor. In fact, how about I take over the ticket desk for the next shift? You can do my job and wander the floor a bit. Fair enough. Thanks. Ashley winks before her face disappears into the dark recesses of that inhuman mask. As I'm wolfing down rice into the shape of little hearts, wow, it occurs to me I didn't actually ponder my first impression of Ashley yet. Let's see. The way Ashley's whole expression changed when she talks about things she's passionate about just warms my heart. Her beaming energy just lights up the whole room. I wonder if one day I'll be that excited about something. Anyway, with lunch in my belly and break time complete, the second half of my workday begins. Rolling into the afternoon, the crowd starts to fill out. School's done and late rising pros are headed out to their arcades of choice. With Ashley covering the desk, my job is to wander the floor looking for problems or potential problems, or just making sure everyone's A-okay. But for starters, it's a good moment to collect my thoughts. I think I'm off to a decent start with my coworkers, good first impressions at any rate. Cooperation's going to be a must. I've had awful coworkers before, but they can really drag down your day. Hang on, no time for daydreaming. I think I spot, 3 possible issues to look into. I should have time to get all of them, but which should I tackle first? An irate customer near Mr. Moopy's magic maze, someone cursing up a storm at Fist of Discomfort, a loud crowd around Showtime stage. In the distance, I see a number of people gathering, which is surprising since the first half of my shift was completely and utterly solitude. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy to see that people do come to the arcade, but that's quite the crowd that's assembling. It has to be against some fire code or safety protocol or something, right? Speaking as a citizen that enjoys living, having an escape route in case of emergency is necessary. Time to clear the way and pave my own path of safety. As I approach, I see flashing neon lights accompanied by upbeat Europop drifts. It's an auditory flashback right to the 1980s. I can't help but nod my head to the beat. A pulsating mass of people have surrounded Showtime stage, cheering on the current player. The game itself takes up a whole corner of the arcade, requiring a fair amount of space to actually play. Showtime stage is an ultra-modern arcade smash hit. It uses motion tracking sensors hidden beneath the floor-colored spotlights to check dance pose accuracy and score your sweet moves. It's pure dance fever. You can catch the fever. Can you catch the fever, Gabrielle? I had my dance fever shot to the doctor's office earlier this season. As the dance ends, one of the players hops down from the stage and immediately starts talking to a young man leaning up against the back wall. Did you see that, Tio? I got my first double ace Stop the Beat.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, you did. You're doing great. Remember last month you couldn't even pass that song? Totes impressive. I'm gonna keep practicing and one day maybe even surpass you. Hey, hope you do. And when you do, you can be the one that brings in new dancers and teaches them how to play. As the next song starts, my eyes shift from their conversation to observe the gyrations and intricate limb movements coming from Showtime stage. I feel my head bobbing and my foot tapping. Hey, it's a really catchy song. Can you blame me? I'm getting really into it when I feel a hand on my shoulder.
Care to dance?
How about you? Want to take the spotlight? I'm not one for dancing with strangers. You know what dancing leads to. Me falling on my face in front of all these people. Either that or one of my customers enjoying a trip to the emergency room with a shattered foot. I'd rather not horribly embarrass myself right now. Let's save that for later. 'Tis a downright shame, but you can't blame me for trying. How could I resist to ask a gal such as yourself? You caught my eye the moment you walked over.
Hey, wait. You're new here, right?
Yes, very.
My name's Mateo, but everyone here just calls me Teo.
Oh. Teo. Teo's the best. Greatest guy here. He's sort of like our leader. Yeah.
Oh, please, I'm nothing really.
He looks directly into my eyes.
Nothing as special as you. I just like to show newbies the ropes and teach them how to play. Our community is small, but we're all super close. I think you'd be a perfect addition to our gang. So, what do you say? Play our silly dancing game?
Teo outstretches his arm to me, waiting for my hand to grab his. Teo's a persistent one, but at least he's not mean about it. Maybe after I've played Showtime stage multiple times, alone. Possibly in the dark. Look, I appreciate the offer, but I don't know if this one's for me. I like to avoid injuring anyone, notably myself. With enough practice, you'll get it. Plus, I could always teach you. Yeah, I think I'll pass. I'm actually on the clock right now. I'm the new floor attendant. Gabrielle? Really? But I haven't seen you around here at all. What happened to the other guy? He was actually pretty good at Showtime stage, now that I think about it. He's out, I'm in. It's currently year 0 of floor attendant Gabrielle regime.
Hello there.
Well, it's an honor to meet you, Gabrielle. I hope we get to know each other well. Indeed. For someone that loves Showtime stage as much as you do, I haven't actually seen you play yet. True, most of the time during these meetups, I tend to let everyone else play. I go around to make sure everyone is happy and having a blast. But what about you and your feelings? Teo shrugs. My happiness comes from making other people happy. That's all I need in life. Which is all well and good, but I still need to deal with this crowd. How best to handle it. Good. We can start by getting to know workplace safety together. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you gotta break up the band. Unless you want to film one of those retro 1960s public service announcement videos where someone loses a leg dancing off the stage and into the crowd. Yeah, guess we're kinda overdoing it a little, shaking hands with danger. Hey, when the heat is on and the lights are shining, these things happen. I'll take care of it. Luckily, the song that was being played was just finished. Teo jumps on the stage and cups his hand over his mouth. Hey, listen. We need to keep the area to the left of the stage clear. Oh, man. But why? I like my spot. Hey, now you know the deal. We have to be cool about fire safety. It's Gabrielle's first day. Let's show her some respect. I see everyone turn around and glare at me. Great, now I'm gonna be known as the party pooper. I guess I've had worse reputations in my lifetime, like that one time I had to close the pool because of that dirty bandage floating in the water. No one would talk to me for a week. Hey, don't disappoint me, crew. Gabrielle's just doing her job. Reluctantly, the crowd reshuffles itself in a semi-orderly fashion. As everyone settles into a safer way of watching the game, Teo jumps down and comes back to me. Better? I nod, genuinely impressed at how Teo can capture his community's attention. They listen to him and have the utmost respect for him. Yeah, actually, much better.
Didn't mean to cause any trouble. Sometimes we just get so caught up in the game, you know? Of course you know. Hey, you should still join us later. Maybe when your shift's over. We'll all be here dancing until closing time.
As long as that dancing isn't within the law, carry on. Officer Gabrielle has spoken. I start to walk away, ready for my next venture, when I remember something I should do. I turn back to Teo. Hey, thanks.
No problem.
Alright, well, I feel nice and accomplished. I was able to uphold the safety of the arcade like a model employee. I say that's pretty good for my first day. Even Gavin's gotta be impressed, right? With that business sorted out, it's time to leave Showtime stage. Let's see what to handle next. There's a lot of shouting coming from the center of the arcade where Fist of Discomfort is being played. I remember Iris telling me all about it earlier today while I was bored to death at the ticket desk. Fist of Discomfort is one of the most popular games in the esports circuit. It's been a staple of the scene for over 6 years. One year, Team Wicked Prodigies took the Unreal and came back to win in the dying seconds of a tiebreaker match to take home a record of $5 million prize pot. That's a lot of moolah. And how? Okay, so how does it work? It's a hybrid of real-life strategy and button mash brawling. Fight your way down the top and bottom lanes, clearing waves of ninjas to finally topple the enemy dojo. But that's the action part. The strategy part involves using special abilities, purchased items, and ninja summons. FOD is sheer elegance in its simplicity, the way the different game systems interweave to form one masterpiece of esport perfection. So, summon good ninjas, punch bad ninjas, smash dojo. I'd say boiling down a rich game of action and strategy played the world over by top gamers is in such a way is a bit degrading, but sure, okay. All of which is super interesting and stuff, but right now all I care about is dealing with the loudmouth currently playing the game. The closer I get, the louder the yelling gets. Most of these are words that...
What the
What was that? And I'm not actually going to be cursing? Thank you very much. No, those are definitely all words my mother would disapprove of. You've got to be kidding. No, I will not. You gotta be kidding me, is the best I'm gonna do. There's no way that's even plausible. Those hitboxes don't even connect. Screw this game. Screw it all night long. Get wrecked. Oh, this is far from over, scrub. I saved up a something extra special for you. I've been baiting you into attacking my sensei, which you fell for. Hard. Oh, hey. Did I forget to mention that I brought an extra ultimate technique scroll from my dojo? Whoops, maybe. Wait, what? You haven't been farming? How could XP share technique with creep waves? Take this. 5-fold explosive death claw technique. What? How did you defeat me? No!
Oh, GG! No one can defeat me, Queen Bee.
My dry eyes painfully blinking makes me realize I've been standing here watching intently during that whole exchange. I'm not 100% sure what just happened, but that didn't matter. I was completely sucked in. Couldn't tear my eyes away. It was like watching a train wreck. I mean, if the train was the arcade game and the wreck was that guy's face.
Hey, kid. What are you staring at? Never been a champion of my caliber before?
Oh, Seeing as I don't even know how to begin to start or to even consider how to respond to her question, I opt to take a moment and collect my thoughts. From what I've somehow gathered, she goes by Queen Bee. The jacket she's wearing identifies her as a member of L7 Gaming, an arcade esports team. And she's the most direct, fierce person I've met all day. And she's the most... Oh, I've met all day. That's saying a lot, considering who I've run into so far. I do like her. Look, let's be frank about this. I know my taste, and Queen Bee's got the whole package. The sass, the dirty mouth, the keen fashion sense. Oh, but be still, my subservient little heart.
Hey, don't just stand there all weird and quiet-like. It's creepy.
She snaps her fingers to grab my attention.
So, are you gonna quarter up or not? Think you can best the hottest rising star of L7?
From what I've seen, I know I couldn't best a scrub, let alone a professionally competitive player of this game. Nope. No thank you. Plus, I'm not sure I'm allowed to play games while I'm working.
You work here?
You bet. In fact, I was just hired earlier. I'm the new floor attendant. If the game eats your quarter, come get me. Wait, you're serious? Okay then, welcome aboard this runaway train.
Hey, they haven't given you a name tag yet. How am I supposed to know who you are?
I think that was actually a weird tactic to have me introduce myself to her. I'm Gabrielle. I did technically just start working here 6 hours ago. It might take them time to issue me a name tag. Maybe they need to send a carrier pigeon to an ancient monastery where name tags are forged in a vast clay oven. Gavin's just slacking big time. I'll talk to that silly boy for you. Make sure you get some proper respect. Thanks? No problem. We gamers gotta stick together.
Queen Bee, by the way. Aggro-style FOD lane pusher specialist for L7 Gaming.
I figured that when you put your arms over your head, cheered and shouted, "No one can defeat me, Queen Bee."
Hey, I do not sound like that. Well, maybe a little.
Anyway, I'm one of the regulars around here, besides Per and Teo. So you'll be seeing a lot of me in the future. Let's hope you last longer than the last guy. Oh great, now she's even making my job into a competition. I hope there isn't a betting pool too. You look like a smart kid. You seem one of my many streams on the internet, right? Nope. I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
Whoa.
Really? You've been living under a rock for the past decade? If you consider a small yet formidable apartment a rock, then yes. Oh, you sweet child. You're so innocent and pure. Come, let me show you the path to darkness that is the internet. Well, it's part of my job to know all about the games here. And if Queen Bee is going to give me some insight on the culture around this game, it should take advantage of that. Lead me farther to the dark abyss, my mistress.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Queen Bee grabs my arm and pulls me closer to the Fist of Discomfort cabinet. And upon further inspection, I see the whole haphazard pile of tech she's rigged up. You can just plug one of these cabs into the internet, so I use a number of clip-on webcams and mics and stuff. That webcam there, it broadcasts my own personal PC back home, which then stream matches live all to my fans. To all my fans, the chat room appears on my phone. Cost a bit to put everything all together, and it takes like half an hour to rig up the test each morning, but after doing this here for a couple years, it's easy peasy. Aside from Naomi grinding her teeth at my clip-on cameras damaging the paint job, I mean. Anyway, I prefer to stream from the Funplex than from home. There's so much to miss out on sitting on your lonesome with a console version of FOD. The crowds, the wicked trash talk, the community. Wait, are you broadcasting live right now? Are we live right now?
No way.
No, that was part of my warm-up matches. I've got a pretty big tournament coming up, so I try to get as much practice in as possible. even if it is with a bunch of fodder. As in FOD, as in, you know, chum. Lunch meat. Scrubs. Losers. I got the idea, yeah. Queen Bee sees something out of the corner of her eye and glances around the arcade floor. She gives a nod to someone hanging near the Street Fighter cabinet. Ah, my crew is starting to trickle in. We should start team practice soon. Wait, what time is it? At that tone, the time will be 2:25 p.m. Eastern.
What the?
I've got to go live in 5 minutes. Listen, kid, it's been swell. We'll chat later, right? Sure, one thing. Can you keep the swearing down at least a little? We got kids around here. I don't want to get you in trouble with Gavin. Him? Meh. But for you, I'll keep it to a PG-13 rating. Now, if you'll excuse me, there are some butts out there that I need to kick.
Later.
Later. And with a wave and a twirl, she completely abandons me and returns to her Fist of Discomfort game. Queen Bee fires up her broadcast rig and the shouting and milder swearing start up again. I should probably get out of here before I accidentally end up on the stream. Is it wrong for me to crave being taught by her? Hey, gotta be me. We've got good chemistry so far. Note to self, check with Gavin about the ethics of dating your customers. Not that I'm committing to anything here, just, you know. Let's see what to handle next. My mutant floor attendant senses detect danger from the left side of the arcade. I quickly rush all of 30 feet to the scene of the crime already in progress. Come on. Hurry up and finish your game. Do you work here? I saw you behind the desk earlier. Note to self, ask Gavin for a name tag or something. Yes, I'm Gabrielle, floor attendant. Well, stop attending to the carpets and attend to me. I want want him to wrap up his game so I can play. Ashley's face is obscured beneath her costume mask, but I can feel her wince at the man's curses as the man curses up a blue streak. Sir, there are children present. Keep the swearing to a minimum. You kick this person off this game, and I'll sing Mary Had a Little Lamb all you want, figuring out how to hear this person's side of the story before rushing to a judgment. I tap the player on the shoulder. And he doesn't even notice me tapping. So I tap again, twice. Sir, there are other players waiting to give Mr. Moopy's Magic Maze a spin. Curiously, the player looks up at the game's marquee, which simply reads Moopy. You know the game's full name? Sure, I played it a lot when I was a kid. Actually called Mr. Moopy's Magic Maze, right? Wizards and pellets and monsters and stuff? Yeah, a bit terse, but he's laser focused on the game, and I can see why. He's currently sitting on 714,900 points. Holy crap, that's a heck of a high score. Or as this other guy would probably put it, holy crap. I'm not actually cursing. Excuse me. Right, sir. Can you please wrap up your game? No. I'm keeping good pace here. Plenty of lives stocked on par for getting close to the world record for the kill screen. Somehow the thick arcade jargon sounds classier when draped in his British accent, like I'm watching some documentary program on the BBC. Yeah, but this is a public arcade. Other folks want to play the games too. He finishes clearing the current board while pondering the predicament. Okay. At first I think he's stepping away to end his game, but he's letting his stock of 50 extra dudes slowly deplete as he pulls out his wallet. Without pause, he pulls out $3,000 in cash and holds it out. Will this cover it? For a moment, I flash back to the movie where some dude pays another dude to sleep with his wife, and they roll around in bed covered in money, and, cover what, exactly? The cost of the game. The game itself. I've never seen this much raw cash in one place at any given time. It's not even in 20s, dudes rolling in Benjamins. One moment, please. On it. Fortunately, Iris already has my messenger app open for me, with Gavin's contact info preloaded. With trembling fingers, I key in. Customer wants to buy Moopy for 3K. What do? In less than a minute, I have my response. Considering we paid $200 for it, plus parts, yes, absolutely yes. Sell that relic immediately. Well, okay then. Although, how's Naomi gonna react to this? Offloading one of her darlings just because Gavin wants to make a 15-fold profit? It also feels kind of weird to be taking advantage of this guy's lack of grasp on the real cost of old arcade machines. I knew all this workplace drama was going to catch up to me at some point, but with this rando breathing down my neck, I gotta make a decision. Oh man, I don't know about this. My semi-bias is cool with it, but there's a lot of factors in play. I don't think I should just let you walk with the thing. I feel a bit wishy-washy about the whole mess, not wanting to get on Naomi or Gavin's bad sides. But the player simply smiles. Well, we can't have a mess, can we? One wouldn't be sporting. Let's compromise. I'll buy the game so I can play whenever I want, for as long as I want, provided nobody's already playing, of course. And in return, you keep Mr. Moopy here where he belongs. We wouldn't want Naomi to cry, would we? Wouldn't be proper. With his mind made up, the man presses $3,000 into my waiting hand, satisfied with negotiations, which leaves the rando hopping mad. To be fair, we had been kind of ignoring that he exists. What kind of arcade is this anyway? Screw this, I'm gonna go to Deco's Palace. And we just lost a customer, stomping his way out the door. Stomp, stomp, stomp. On the plus side, Naomi won't cry. On the negative side, I just drove a rando out into the cold.
What a disagreeable fellow.
As for the player, well, he goes right back to playing, eating pellets, zapping ghost monsters, clearing mazes. With the crisis behind us, I can actually focus on who this gonzo rich guy actually is. I take it from someone wallowing around in the lower tax brackets, the rich can do whatever they want, whenever they want. And yet, that's not what this guy did. He could have, but he let us keep the game. He just wanted to play, that's all. But why? Because of Naomi? Because of the Funplex? It's a home and a family, for the games, and for us. Maybe it's for the best I sent that rando out the door in favor of this guy. So you know Naomi? He's happy to talk, even while playing. Of course,
My name's Percy. I'd hazard you're our new floor attendant. I was here when Francine seated you behind the desk earlier.
That's me. Gabrielle Cater, Arcade Wrangler.
Well then, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, and I look forward to getting to know you better.
So you've seriously just been playing Moopy all day, huh?
What can I say? It's my calling. I actually owned a Moopy cabinet once. Had it in my flat, but playing it by myself, all alone in the dark, it's not the same. I need the atmosphere.
The beeps and boops.
No, those you eventually learn to filter out. I mean, everything. The games, the lights, the kids, the feeling of being in an arcade. I score my best when I'm in real-world conditions. It's all about the emotions. Laughter and the tears, the excitement of competition. I need that swirling chaos of human emotions around me to play at my finest.
Naomi gets that. She keeps Moopy in top condition for the day I eventually land my high score. What's the current world record then? About 3.5 million. This guy's been standing here since I was working the morning shift, hours and hours, and he's still only about 720k into his game. Can't imagine him in anything but top health condition to try this. Guy's gotta have legs made out of carbon fiber and a bladder of tungsten. I just let a few extra lives drain out whenever I need to go pee. Also, he may be psychic. I feel like I should let him get back to his game, but burning questions, they burn like fire. How is it he can afford this game? If it was me tossing around green like that, I have my game coated in solid gold and encrusted with diamonds. Amusing, but gold's a bit heavy, isn't it? And break through the floor. But, you know, it'd be shiny, right? Right?
Don't think so.
Certainly, but I don't throw around money to impress people. Wouldn't want to make my game that ostentatious. It's a bit much, yes? Money removes obstacles, nothing more, nothing less. It's a tool like any other. I do day trading, stocks and bonds. It's really nothing interesting, afraid. I care more for Moopy as a whole. Right. He's getting more and more distracted by the game. I should leave him be. I have to do a thing about a thing. Be seeing you, Miss Cater. Yet another weird encounter in a string of weird encounters. By the end, he sounded more like a high-score junkie. The high-score junkies you hear about in documentaries, obsessed, driven, kind of strange. But that's not the impression I had of him from the beginning. He smiled when talking about not splitting up the arcade. There's something more going on here, but, well, he's a Funplex regular. There'll be plenty of time to learn more later. I've got work to do. The arcade is now at peace. My work here is done. Well, actually, we're a few hours from closing time, so my work here isn't quite done, but you know. I'm so at peace, in fact, that I don't even notice the underboss of the arcade sliding up behind me.
Good day.
Not bad for a first day so far. I've been keeping tabs on you. Well, others have been, and they've been texting me. You know you should consider getting a proper group chat app going. I've got a crappy phone plan. My texts aren't free. A valid point. I'll look into that.
Impressive.
I'm impressed at how you handle yourself. I think you're going to work out just fine. Anyway, I prepared your paperwork if you'd like to go and sign it and make this working relationship a bit more above board.
Yeah.
So you're staying? Please tell me you're staying. I mean, I fed you and everything. Francine hasn't fired her yet, right? An adorable nightmare joins the impromptu staff gathering. Gabrielle's off to a great start. Here's to your first day, followed by many more. Don't you two have jobs to attend to? Just ordered a replacement power supply for Robotron. Nothing left to do for the day. Not many kids around here for me to entertain. Finally, a quiet moment. My dream job had been going a mile a minute since I got here. Is it my dream job? I told Francine I was looking for hope. I've been so used to my life dumping all over me that I've come to expect the worst, generally. And yet, I can't say the Funplex has dumped on me. It's been hectic at times, a little too much, and not really in a bad way. I'm starting to get along with my coworkers. I'm helping people with their problems. Maybe I'm finding the hope I was looking for after all. We've only got a few hours till closing, and it's nice and quiet. How about we game a bit? Speak for yourself. I've still got paperwork to handle. Oh, come on. Don't act like you don't game. Irrelevant. I know your dirty little secret. What? Naomi, you sneak in early each morning to play pinball. You're a pinball wizard. Well, what of it? I bring order to chaos. Pinball is the very expression of that art form. You know what we should do? Impromptu pinball tourney? The girls are giggling and I find myself smiling right alongside them. All in all, not a bad way to end my first day.
By the way, I've booked a birthday party for this afternoon.
The looks of confusion and outright terror on their faces, all laughter dying off immediately, are vaguely concerning to me.
Sorry, I meant to tell you, dears, but I plumb forgot.
A birthday party? How old are the kids, may I ask? It's her 5th birthday. Oh, to be young again. 5-year-olds? Naomi starts pulling at her hair, her eyes wide and trembling. Throwing skee balls overhand into the glass, jumping up and down on pinball machines, putting chewing gum onto coin slots, pulling at my costume, tearing off pieces of it. Naomi, Ashley, keep it together. We've survived kids' birthday parties before. Doom, the end is nigh. Well,
Hate to get in the way of all the fun. Yep, it's time for my afternoon nap anyway. Have fun, dears.
Right. Battle stations, everyone. I'll take ticket desks so that I can oversee operations. Ashley, greet the kids. Naomi, watch for hardware damage. Gabrielle, roaming duty. Look for trouble and do what you can. Prepare yourselves. They're coming. Like an oncoming tidal wave, the rumble is felt before it is seen. Parents pulling into the parking lot, minivans disgorging kindergartners, and suddenly... Oh my gosh. An explosion of small humans rushes the doors, bursting into the arcade before scattering every which way. Even before any of them can get tokens, they're grabbing at joysticks, mashing buttons, eager to get their game on, or even just pretend to be playing. The crew assumes battle stations, Naomi by the fragile pinball machines, Ashley near the door trying to distract the incoming kids to greet them. Gavin, armed with pre-stacked $10 rolls of tokens, quickly exchanges them with the adults, Beats waiting in line at the change machine. As for the pro gamers, well, Queen Bee and Teo's friends bolt for the exit, abandoning them, keen on getting out ahead of the surge of kiddies, I guess. It's all very well and good, but I've got no idea where I'm supposed to be. Roaming duty, Gavin said. Look for trouble, Gavin said. I mean, I was doing that before, but now the chaos is multiplied. For a few minutes, I'm like a pinball being bounced around, or like that frog trying to cross a highway of traffic. Eventually, I spot 3 possible problems on the rise, and Gabrielle, professional floor attendant, is ready to handle them. Which one of these should I tackle first, though? I may not be able to deal with them all in time. Near Naomi and Ashley, an angry adult shouting at a kid near Teo and Queen Bee. Little girl crying over stolen tokens near Percy and Gavin. Let's take this. I smell disaster on the wind, and it smells sweet. As in, I can smell that box of birthday cupcakes one of the parents left near the ticket desk, with kids swarming around it, scavenging for their favorite icing colors. At first, my inner child is merely offended that someone thought one of those icing blobbed cakes was superior to actual birthday cake, but there are clearly larger issues at stake than that.
I want a chocolate! Don't take all the chocolate!
I want 2 cupcakes. Give me 2 cupcakes.
No fair! Everybody gets one, and mine's gotta be chocolate!
Of course, the kid in the front grabs the last one.
Keepers, losers, weepers.
The parents aren't paying attention. They're too busy complaining about their jobs and the weather and the PTA and stuff. Meaning, when the first cupcake is thrown, nobody is there to stop it.
Stop it, stop it!
I want chocolate!
As blobby wads of icing and sponge cake go flying, I glance over to the coin-op games, which are about to get caught in the crossfire. Naomi, who's busy trying to unjam a joystick one of the kids waggled too hard, looks up to see the cupcake onslaught coming her way, as does Ashley, whose fuzzy costume is a nice and inviting target for flying confectionery. Act fast. Quickly, I hurl myself into the action. Get down! Numbness and multiple rounds of frosting-coated mortar fire impact against my body. When I finally hit the ground, my clothes are totally ruined. But alas, my noble self-sacrifice could not completely protect them. Naomi seems to get the idea and shields the game with her body. A few stray cupcakes that missed me hit her, but otherwise no damage is done. Ashley takes a few shots, unfortunately, but it could have been worse. As parents swarm to round up the cupcake war instigators, Naomi and Ashley kneel down to check on my fallen form. Are you okay?
Oh my.
Could be paralyzed from the neck down. Blink once if you're paralyzed, twice if not. I'm not paralyzed. Oh, hey. Or you could talk, that works too. Naomi helps me get to my feet, although I have to be careful not to mingle my icing with her icing in the process. Days like these, I'm glad I wear an apron. Ew. Cupcakes are food, not fashion.
Poops.
Colored icing is just the worst. I think I can get these 2 out with some club soda, fortunately. I guess they got all of us, huh? But Gabrielle worst of all. Yeah, I know. That's super selfless of you, trying to save us from the splatter. Speaking as a floor attendant, you score a silver medal. Despite all of us ending up splattered a little, they seem in good spirits. I should try to keep that rolling. Unfortunate that my learned skills of the mastery of mid-air cupcake retrieval failed me in this hour of need. I have dishonored myself and my arcade. I must train for 10 years, during which I can let the shame of this incident drive the fire in my soul to greater heights of cupcake defense. Just have Ashley daydream up a training montage for you. Same effect, but saves a lot of time. I'm at your disposal, although my screenwriting fees are industry standard if you want the full Ashley treatment. Anyway, thanks, Gabrielle. It was a complete mess, but I guess it could have been more of a complete mess if you hadn't done that. I'd better get back to fixing that joystick. You should clean up and get back to it. Also, the party's still going. Good luck. Yeah, good luck, and hey, good work. If you'll excuse me, I need to go clean up poor Pinky a bit. That could have gone better, but it also could have gone much, much worse. More importantly, I kept their spirits up. Even Ashley, who has to clean icing out of her fuzzy felt, came out of it cheerful. With a brief nod from Gavin, I snatched one of the official Funplex t-shirts to replace my cupcaked top. After a few minutes in the bathroom to change and wipe off my icing pants, I'm ready to go again. Right, that's sorted out. But the other two situations are about to spin out of control. I've only got time to deal with one of them. Which one? The sounds of hardship call me from Fast Car 5 racing games. Shouting adults and crying children are never particularly good signs, and I hope beyond hope that I can take this on. I shake the discomfort now. Now's not the time to doubt myself. I need to find out what's going on, and stat. As I get closer to the revving of engines and the clacking of shifting gears, I see a grown woman berating a cowering boy.
I didn't.
Admit it. I know what you did, you brat. You manipulated my precious son to put his tokens in your game. You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm sorry. Children like you are the absolute worst. Garbage. Ma'am, keep your voice down. There's no need to shout at a child, no less. What's going on here? This jerk of a boy told my sweetest beyond sweet, Josh, that he should put in his own tokens into the racing machine so he could play it for free. Josh earned these tokens from his own allowance, and I won't let some devil child steal his money. Let's just take a moment to calm down, okay? Before I say anything, I spot Queen Bee and Teo out of the corner of my eye. Queen Bee looks infuriated, and Teo has buried his face in his hand. Actually, now that I stop and think about it, they might have some insight. The racing games are right next to Showtime's stage. Teo would probably have a good vantage point of the whole thing if he was dancing on stage. And just by the way Queen Bee's brows are furrowed, I can tell something is not sitting right with her. I could ask one of them for help. Or I could try to solve this one by myself. Teo was right next to the action when it went down. I decided to check in with him. Ma'am, I know you're upset right now, but if you please stop shouting, we can get all this settled. Teo, I refuse to calm down until this child has been appropriately punished. That such disrespect is tolerated in this arcade is appalling. Oh, I'm giving you the worst online reviews. Teo jumps down from the stage and approaches the shouting woman. He puts his hands up.
Sheesh.
Simmer down, simmer down. This can all be explained with science. Really? Really? I mean, right, of course. Teo, by all means, elaborate. Teo walks past us and right up to the Fast Cars 5 game. He casually slumps in the driver's seat and then motions for us to come near. Let me show you both something. Teo points to the car console. It's got a wheel, which is fantastic and totally necessary for a driving game, pedals, gear shift, and so on. But the feature Teo draws our attention to are the 2 coin slots, which are vertically stacked, one on top of the other. Okay, so this is where you drop your tokens in to play the game. However, do you see how it's practically in the middle of these 2 identical consoles? Which game does the top slot belong to? The right hand or the left hand game? It's obviously the right one, right? I mean, correct? Of course not, fool, it's the left one. Gabrielle is correct. What? Preposterous. See, these import games can be confusing. I'm sure your son just put the token in the wrong slot. Common mistake, really, happens all the time. Considering how confused I was, I could see how a small child would be just as, if not more, confused. Honestly, mine was just a lucky guess. I give Teo a grateful look, happy that the crisis has been dealt with. The frustrated customer would undoubtedly apologize for yelling at that boy now. How dare you imply my precious Josh was wrong? I can't believe the gall of some people. Josh? Josh, get over here. We're leaving this horrible arcade. Right now. Oh well. Didn't see that one coming. The woman scoops up her child, storms out the front door. I don't think we'll see her or her son anymore, and frankly, I'm cool with that. Once they're gone, Teo looks back at me from the driver's seat and shrugs. There's just no pleasing some people. I feel sorry for her son. That's no way to treat a child. Teo's sprightly and happy demeanor shifted slightly, eyes glazed over as he looked into the distance. Haven't seen Teo act like this before. He just looks upset. I wonder if I should check in with him. I know it's really none of my business, but I should make sure Teo's okay. It seems like he can really empathize with this kid's plight. Hey, everything alright? You need anything? After pausing for a moment, the fire returns to his eyes. Yeah, I'll be okay. Just reminded me of how I get treated, by teachers notably. I'd space out in class, daydreaming, and they'd rake me over the coals for it just to assert authority. Total overkill. It just really bums me out to see adults mistreat kids this way, you know? I like to treat people with respect even when they're in the wrong, like you saw just now with that woman. I appreciate you taking some time to ask me, you know. Shows you got respect too, and empathy. You're a kind person, Gabrielle, but I'm not that important. You should make sure that boy's safe and sound. I'm headed back to Showtime Stage. Holler if you need anything. I give a quick wave to Teo as he returns to his game. After poking around a bit, I managed to find the kid, still shaken up from the whole ordeal. Hey, sorry about all that. Are you doing okay? Gonna be okay? I think so. I swear I didn't do anything. The other kid just came out of nowhere and dropped his token in my slot. After I lost, I got off the game and offered it to him. He just ran away. And then that woman approached you and started yelling. The boy nods, wiping his snotty nose on his shirt. Uh-huh. Well, if it's any consolation, the bad lady is gone, and I don't think she's ever going to come back. The boy, cheeks still streaked with tears, lets a smile spread on his face. Thank you, and tell that nice man thanks for sticking up for me too. I nod and the boy scurries off and rejoins some of his other friends. 2 problems in the can. Now to deal with the crying kid and the skee-ball machines. Oh, she's gone. Well, crap. Percy looks up briefly from clearing level 78 of Moopy. Looking for that girl? I think her parents took her home. Party turned sour for her, I suppose. Drat, I wasn't fast enough. You can't be everywhere at once, Gabrielle. Cheer up, love. You're still doing better than the last guy who stood at your post. Seconded. I saw you deal with that obnoxious parent and with the cupcake war. You did well today. Seeing Gavin actually smiling is weird, but I'm not gonna say no to praise from my sub-boss. Things seem to be cooling down. I suggest you take a few minutes in the break room while there's a lull in the action. Ashley and I will handle things for now, and she can swap off when you come back. Percy ducks out of the conversation without actually moving anywhere, refocusing on his game. I could use a few minutes. Yeah. Thanks, Gavin. I'll be right back. I slip away, headed for the employee lounge. What a day. Quirky coworkers, diehard pro gamers, volatile kids, getting into volatile situations. I'd say it's a recipe for wackiness or just some cliche, but nothing's an easy dismissed cliche when it's happening to you directly. Frankly, I'm exhausted. I drop down onto one of the cheap folding metal chairs into the employee break room, groaning and rolling my head back to try and work the kinks out of my sore shoulders, and spot an upside-down kid. Oh, wait, I'm the one leaning backwards. I stood up and turned around and said, better. Wait, what's a kid doing back here? Hey, I think he was hoping I wouldn't notice him. Hi. Hi, and you are? Mikey. Okay, that's a start. Hi, Mikey. My name is Gabrielle, so what are you doing back here? This is an employee-only area. Wait, there's a keypad. How'd you get in? The guy at the desk dropped this. He holds out a piece of paper with the door code written on it. Huh. Score 1 for Ashley's wild storytelling being more fact than fiction. Okay, but you can't stay back here. It's, well, I don't see any knives or stabbing implements left out in the open, so I guess it's technically safe,
Please
but...
don't send me back out there.
Well, this is curious. I lean in so we can be on the same eye level. Something wrong? You can tell me. I work here. I'm the gal who solves problems.
No problems, just don't want to go out there.
Don't you want to play with your friends? He gives me the most cynical, bitter laugh I've ever heard out of a kindergartner.
I don't got any friends. I don't know anybody here. My family just moved to the city, and before that we lived in another city. And one more for that, but I was too little to remember. Mom told me to come to the party anyway, and I didn't want to, but she took me anyway. And then she left because she's got to work.
New kid in town, huh? He nods mutely. Still, I should have busted him then brought him back out to the party where the other parents could supervise him. I should have told Gavin. I should have enforced the rules of the arcade. Okay, kid. I won't tell on you. If you want to stay back here for the rest of the party, I'll keep you company. Thanks. You really won't tell my mom? Nope. Why? I thought you'd want to make me go. You're an adult like Mom. Hey, I wasn't always an adult. I was a kid once. The new kid in town, in fact. You were the new kid? Yeah, although for me it started happening back when I was 10. Again and again, moving from town to town, school to school, never really making any friends, not for years. Mom and Dad kept losing jobs and taking new ones, worse ones. They'd be working all day long, too tired when they came home to do much of anything. After years and years of this, I stopped hoping things would get better. Decided I'd just take what I could get. I go with the flow. What does that mean? It means you don't care. Some things are good, some things are bad, but you don't care. You just do what you have to do without really being sad over it.
That sounds so sad. You weren't sad? It's sad to never care about anything, right?
I guess I was sad. I just told myself I wasn't going to be sad, even though I really was. I apologize for the lawnmower in the background. And then I bite my tongue hard, because my little involuntary trip down memory lane was not helping this kid out. Wouldn't have helped little Gabrielle out if an adult did this for me, but instead I decided to be the adult that little Gabrielle would have needed. Hey, Mikey, look. Both of us had some sad times, but it's not always going to be like that. Now, I work here at an arcade. I help people play fun games all day. How cool is that? And I did make a friend eventually, a nice girl named Juniper. She helps me when I feel bad, and I help her. I won't lie to you, I still feel sad sometimes. Life can be really difficult, but it won't always be difficult. If you keep your head up, you can ride through the good and the bad parts. Is there anything in your life that's always good, no matter what? Mikey thinks it over a little. I like cartoons. And I watch those no matter where we live. See? No matter how sad you get, you can always have your cartoons. Any city you live in will have them. See? There are good things, along with the bad. Does anybody else at your school like the same cartoons you do? I don't know. Do you want to find out? There's a super easy way. Just ask them. Really? Really? You'd be surprised. Okay, Miss Gabrielle? Yeah? Do you like Ultra Warrior Unicorn Rainbow Champions too? I love Ultra Warrior Unicorn Rainbow Champions. Don't tell your mom you used that word. The kid grins, amused that he caught me swearing. And, well, then we're both laughing, because I'm just an ordinary person now, not some authority figure. I make mistakes. Both of us have highs and lows. Hey, I bet some of the kids out there love Ultra Warrior Unicorn Rainbow Champions. I mean, who doesn't? How about we go back out there, and you can ask the other kids what cartoons they like. You'll never know until you ask. I don't know. I'm not saying they'll all be your friends. Some won't be, some will. The good and the bad. Mikey, you get both if you look, and it's worth looking for the good. Okay, I'll go talk to them. That's the spirit. I take his hand to lead him back out to the main room. And off he goes. I'm not fooling myself. I know I haven't fixed all of Mikey's problems. I'm no child psychologist. That was entirely me flying by the seat of my pants. But for one moment there, I was able to help someone in the same crappy situation I found myself long ago. 15 years ago, everything changed. No more family vacations, no more arcade visits. We couldn't afford them, and they couldn't take time off work. The whole Cater family had to learn to settle, to accept the lot in life we'd been dealt, to simply go with the flow, never hoping, never wanting. Juniper did her best to pull me out of that mire. I'd only known her for a few years, one of the few stable times in my life, but she knew the edge I'd been pushed to. Now, here I am. Today had been, well, bonkers. Alternately boring and hectic, surreal and way too real. But I can honestly say I'm more alive today than I've been in a very long time. Beep beep. Beep beep, Gabrielle. My emotional voice analysis subroutines combined with your body language suggest you're very happy right now. Yeah, I guess I am. How did you know? I just told you, silly. I mean, how did you know I love this job so much?
Oh, I know.
Oh, that's easy. I didn't. What? I lied. I was 47% sure. Oh, it has elements that seem to click with your optimal social requirements, a fun atmosphere, spirited coworkers, helping people out, and so on. Also, I cross-referenced your roommate's posting talking about how much you enjoyed arcade visits when you were a kid. Still, 47%. But I was 99.97% sure that if I said I was 99.97% sure you'd be willing to give it a try. Another thing to thank Juniper for, I guess. You're a very weird little app, you know?
Hooray!
I try to be. From the cars pulling up to the parking lot, it looks like the party's over. It's just about closing time for the arcade anyway. Most of the gamers have filed out by now, if they hadn't already fled the tidal wave of kiddies. My first impulse is to go bug Gavin about my paperwork, but that can wait. I'd rather go help someone with the tidying up, or maybe see how our VIP gamers are doing. Not enough time to run around checking with everyone, though. Who do I want to hang out with? Whew. Gavin's tapping his tablet and frowning. Quietly repairing her costume. Naomi's prying gum out of a coin slot. Queen Bee's packing up her gear, ready to go home. Teo's cooling down with some Fast Cars 5. And Percy's finally finished his Moopy game and is ready to leave. Let's go to Queen Bee. Why not? Queen Bee looks like she's completely done for the day. There's an exasperated frown on her face as she shoves various webcams and mics into her bag. She doesn't even notice me as I approach. Yeah, you show that high-tech equipment who's boss. Yeah, fight the man. Wait, why are you angry again? Those kids were really messing with my concentration. The high-pitched voices, the crying, the yelling. It's hard to focus with all that background noise. I much prefer the sounds of people cheering me on and the excitement of a good crowd. I can cheer you on next time there's a mass child attack. I don't know any formal cheers, but I'm adept at flailing my arms wildly and wooing. That's nice of you, but this one's on me. I wasn't playing at the top of my game tonight. I know I'm so much better than this. It's the worst feeling ever. But you win some, you lose some, right, kid? Yeah, that's how I feel after day's shift. It's rough out there. Normally I'll leave when a gathering of that caliber is around, but I've got an important tournament coming up and need all the practice I can get. Kids or no kids.
Not bad.
But for your first day, you held your own. I'm impressed. Really? I've dealt with my fair share of brats and trolls roaming around here, and you certainly held yourself up to a higher standard than that last guy that worked here. That's good, right? That's Really, that's hecking good, kid. I think you'll fit in nicely among this crowd of misfits. That's a relief. I was worried people weren't going to accept me. If anyone gives you any trouble at all, you tell Queen Bee. I'll fight them. Really, that's really not necessary. I don't need people fisticuffing in my name. Gavin will most definitely fire me for that. Suit yourself, kid. Either way, welcome to the gang. Thanks. I watch as Queen Bee slings her bag over her shoulder, waves bye to all the lingerers, and swiftly exits the funplex. With things winding down, there's just one last thing to take care of before I'm out the door. I seek out Gavin to handle the remains of the day. Gabrielle, good work today. Thanks, boss. Mid-boss? Sub-boss? Gavin will do. I can't say you've been a perfect employee, but my standards are impossibly high, so I'll just assume you were as close to perfect as is reasonable. The cost of cleaning our carpets won't be as bad thanks to your quick thinking. Normally I'd have dealt with angry parents myself, but I was distracted. I've only second-hand accounts of your performance there, as Teo told me everything. Although Teo isn't staff, I suppose he stepped up to handle the rude customer with a rational and calm attitude, so I'll consider that handled. Although I'm pleased to say the sale of Mr. Moopy's Magic Maze for full $3,000 will indirectly offset quite a few of these costs. I'm glad you consulted me on that and stuck to your guns on the pricing. Even if I'd be happy to be rid of that relic entirely. Why it's still here is a good question. Was I not clear I wanted it gone? Percy didn't wanted to break up the family. They're machines, not people. He also didn't want Naomi to be sad. Yes, well, Naomi needs to learn to let go, I'd say. Are you giving our poor little Gabrielle a hard time, Gavin dear? Miss Francine, I thought you were napping.
Let's be sensible.
Naomi's dreams matter too, as do the dreams of Percy and that poor fellow. Poor? Isn't Percy stinking rich? Gavin, I know you mean well, wanting to keep everyone's dreams afloat, but sacrifices made in that name which shatter the dreams of others, well, that's not what the Funplex is about. You understand, yes, the reason why? Why I'm here. That's the question she asked me during the interview. Now that I think I understand. I came here today looking for hope. Hope I could do more with my life than compromise, settle for what I can get, and go with the flow. Everybody I've met today is full of hope. Gamers chasing scores, people following their passions. Nobody here is willing to give up their dreams. Not even you, Gavin. You know we're better than this. Gavin, we don't settle. We chase after our hopes and dreams and won't accept anything less. I see.
Apologies.
Miss Francine, I apologize. It's difficult to balance my idealism against my realism some days, but I know in my heart I need to err on the side of idealism, even if my mind screams in protest. I can assume you're still keen to work here, Gabrielle. I don't even hesitate before replying. Absolutely. Gavin fetches a nearby short stack of forms. Fill these out tonight and hand them in to me the first thing in the morning. And welcome to the Funplex. Welcome to the family, I'd say. I'm sure you'll fit in just fine, Gabrielle. One bus later, and it's home again, jiggity jig. Juniper, already home from work, bounds over eagerly to interrogate me on my day. So, how'd it go? It went well. Or well? Really well. Your little app came through, despite being terrifyingly omniscient and just a bit unnerving. You forgot to mention adorable. That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear things worked out, and you even came home with a smile like you did when you were a lifeguard. Huh, I guess I am smiling. Interesting. By the way, there's... Oh, okay.
Teensy little question I have for you. Why exactly did you order a giant crate full of pizza bagels?
Did I neglect to mention that part of the terms and conditions... On the plus side, I know what I'm having for lunch tomorrow. And that's level 1 of Arcade Spirits complete. Hey, look, you also won a prize. You get one of these for each level you clear, plus some extras for various endings and other hidden thingies. Now let's check your score. Looks like you and Ashley are having some good times. You're proving to be a gentle, sweet, and compassionate soul. You've also scored 5,650 points. Keep talking with people and your score will go up, up, up. Today's pizza fact is Americans eat approximately 100 acres of pizza each day, or 350 slices per second. Wow. Do you want to save your game before proceeding to level 2? Funplex render. Cool. Okay, so that's a lot of talking. I don't know that I can go for another level. So I think we're gonna end here on at the end of level 1, and I think I just found a new game that I'm going to be continuing for Indie Game Night once we move to a regular schedule next week. So that is going to be the end of today's stream. Thank you so much to anybody who came out to watch live. Thank you to anybody who might be watching this later on. If you haven't heard of me, my name is Archangel. I do podcast production, YouTube videos, graphic design, and a bunch of other stuff. All of my stuff can be found down below. And just a quick reminder, we are raising money for the Trevor Project this week. The donation link for that can be found down below. And I will see you guys next time.